This is the summary of the first Harry Potter movie, The Philosopher's Stone. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Survived. In the first chapter of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, we are introduced to the Dursley family, apparently a few hours after Voldemort's defeat. They live at 4 Privet Drive, Little Whinging, Surrey, and were proud to say they were perfectly normal. Vernon Dursley is the manager at a company called Grunnings that makes drills. Petunia Dursley, his wife, is a housewife who worries excessively about her son Dudley, and also gossips and badmouths the neighbors. Petunia had a sister who married James Potter, but they were so different from the Dursleys that they didn't even speak to each other. The Dursleys wake up on a Tuesday prepared for a normal day. But when Vernon went to his work, he noticed many strange things throughout the day. He thought he saw a cat reading a map outside his house, and strange people were in the streets dressed in robes, talking about someone they called You-Know-Who and his nephew, Harry Potter. Vernon returned to his house and asked Petunia about the Potters, but she never liked to talk about them, so he didn't pursue the subject. After watching a report about owls flying all day and hundreds of shooting stars at night, the Dursleys went to bed. On her street, a man appeared out of nowhere. His name was Albus Dumbledore, and he was awaiting the arrival of Rubeus Hagrid. The cat that had landed on Mr. Dursley's wall transformed into an elderly woman, Minerva McGonagall. They had come to deliver baby Harry Potter, who had just lost his parents in a battle with Lord Voldemort. Even though the Dark Lord had used a killing curse on him, it had only left him with a scar. Hagrid arrived on a flying motorcycle and was placed on the Dursleys' stoop with a letter explaining the events of the night. Meanwhile, the entire wizarding world was celebrating Voldemort's downfall. To Harry Potter, the boy who lived. Chapter 2. The Vanished Glass. 10 years have passed since the first chapter. Harry is almost 11 years old and lives in the closet under the stairs in the Dursleys' house. He is tormented by Dudley, who beats and teases him until he can't. One morning, Harry is woken up by his Aunt Petunia telling him to serve breakfast immediately because it's Dudley's birthday and everything has to be perfect. Dudley is upset that he has only 37 gifts, one less than the year before. When a neighbor calls to say that she won't be able to babysit Harry for the day, Dudley starts crying, mockingly. Chapter 3. Nobody's cards grounded for the boa constrictor incident. Harry is locked in his closet until the beginning of summer. When he is finally free, he spends most of his time outside of his house to escape the torments of Dudley and his friends. Harry is very excited about the prospect of starting at a new school in the fall, away from Dudley for the first time in his life. One day, Uncle Vernon sends Harry to get the mail. Harry discovers a letter with a coat of arms addressed to him, Mr. H. Potter Cupboard under the stairs. Privet Drive, 4 Little Whinging, Surrey. Uncle Vernon tears off the envelope and shows it to his wife. They are so shocked that they force Dudley and Harry out of the kitchen in order to discuss what to do. The next day, Uncle Vernon visits Harry in his pantry and refuses to discuss the letter. However, he tells Harry to move into Dudley's second bedroom, previously used to store Dudley's toys. The next day, another letter arrives for Harry, this time addressed to him in the smallest bedroom. Uncle Vernon is alarmed. Harry tries to get the letter, but Uncle Vernon stops him. The next morning, Harry gets up early to try to get the mail before someone else gets up, but he is thwarted by Uncle Vernon, who has slept near the letterbox waiting for the letters. Although Uncle Vernon closes the post hole, 12 letters come for Harry the next day, under the door or through the cracks. Sometime later, the letters flood the house, entering in impossible ways. Vernon continues to prevent Harry from reading any of these. Enraged, he decides to take everyone away from the house. Chapter 4. The Keeper of the Keys. There is another knock on the door before a giant man breaks it down. Uncle Vernon threatens the giant man with a shotgun, but the giant man takes the gun and twists it into a knot. The giant man presents Harry with a chocolate birthday cake and introduces himself as Rubeus Hagrid, the keeper of the Hogwarts keys and grounds. Hagrid is upset to learn that the Dursleys have never told Harry about Hogwarts. Vernon tries to stop Hagrid from telling Harry about the wizarding world, but to no avail, as Hagrid asks if a great muggle like him is going to stop him. Hagrid tells Harry that he is a wizard and hands him an acceptance letter to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Uncle Vernon says that he won't let Harry go to Hogwarts. Hagrid explains to Harry that the Dursleys have lied to him all along about how his parents died. Harry learns that they were not killed in a car accident. As he had always thought, they were killed by the evil wizard Lord Voldemort. Harry doesn't believe that he is a wizard, but later realizes that the boa incident was an act of magic. When Vernon rages and calls Albus Dumbledore crazy, Hagrid tells him never to insult Dumbledore in front of him again and casts a spell on Dudley, producing a pig's tail. Hagrid then takes Harry from the hut on the rock. He further asks her not to comment on the spell he performed, since he is forbidden to do magic. Chapter 5. Diagon Alley. Harry wakes up in Hagrid's company and realizes that the night before was not a dream. The two set out for London to buy Harry's school supplies. Harry looks at the list of supplies and worries about the money needed, but Hagrid assures him that his parents left him the necessary funds at Gringotts, the goblin-run wizarding bank. Their first stop is the Leaky Cauldron, a bar where all the patrons recognize Harry and are nervous and honored to have the chance to meet him. Among these people is Defense Against the Dark Arts professor Quirinus Quirrell. Harry and Hagrid leave the place through the back door, where Hagrid taps on the brick wall, and a small street called Diagon Alley opens up before them. Hagrid explains that Harry is going to buy what he needs for school there. They head to Gringotts, where they are escorted to Harry's vault. Inside, he looks at stacks of gold and silver coins that Harry's parents inherited for him. Hagrid explains to Harry the monetary system, which is made up of galleons, sickles, and nuts, and fills a small bag with the money. He then leads Harry to another vault, number 713, which is empty except for a small dirty package that Hagrid picks up and hides in his clothes, warning Harry not to mention it, as it is Hogwarts business. Hagrid then takes Harry shopping for his uniform. At the shop, he meets a spoiled and unsympathetic boy who is also going to Hogwarts in the fall. The boy tells him about the old wizarding families, and Harry begins to worry about whether he has the wizard cut. But Hagrid reassures him, telling him that he is going to learn everything he needs to know and that there are many Muggle-born students at Hogwarts. After buying the necessary books and potion ingredients, Hagrid and Harry go to buy his wand. Once in Ollivander's shop, the shop owner makes Harry try a number of magic wands, arguing that the wand chooses the wizard. After trying several different types of wands, Harry tries a wand made of holly and a phoenix feather. Red and gold sparks come out of it, proving that this must be the one for him. Ollivander comments to Harry that the core of the wand he chose is phoenix feather, and that the phoenix that provided the feather present in his wand had only 2 feathers on its tail. One is on his wand, and the other is on Voldemort's wand, the same one that gave Harry his scar. Chapter 6. The Journey Across Platform. 9 3/4. Harry's last month with the Dursleys was unpleasant. The day before starting the trip to school, Harry asks Uncle Vernon to take him to King's Cross train station in London. Uncle Vernon agrees, but teases him because his train leaves from platform 9 3/4, as marked on the ticket Hagrid gave him. The next day, Harry arrives at the station to find himself between platforms 9 and 10, wondering with growing alarm how to find platform 9 3/4. Lastly, he hears a family with red-headed children mention the word Muggle. He asks the children's mother how to get onto the platform, and she tells him that he must walk through the barrier between platforms 9 and 10. Harry does so, and is surprised to find the Hogwarts Express on the other side of the barrier. Harry tackles him. On the train, Harry meets Fred and George Weasley, the twins who were returning to school, as well as his younger brother Ron, another student about to start at Hogwarts. Ron tells Harry about many things about the wizarding world, such as Quidditch, the cards of famous witches and wizards inside boxes of chocolate frogs, and Bertie Bott's all-flavored drops. Harry obtains Albus Dumbledore's card in a chocolate frog. Ron, who comes from a poor family, can't afford the sweets sold on the train, so Harry buys some sweets with his new fortune. They also meet Hermione Granger, a Muggle-born witch who, despite starting her first year as Harry, already knows a fair bit about magic. They arrive at school, and as freshmen, they must be placed in one of the 4 houses. This ceremony is carried out by the Sorting Hat, which, although it is threadbare and dirty, can speak and read the mind of whoever puts it on. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are assigned to Gryffindor House, founded by Godric Gryffindor, described in the book as Hogwarts' great hero. Chapter 7. The school year begins. Harry makes enemies with Draco Malfoy, the darling he meets at the store where he buys his uniform, and becomes best friends with Ron. At the welcome banquet, Harry notices the presence of Severus Snape, the potions master. Harry has magic classes all year, enjoying them more and more with the exception of one subject, potions, because apparently the teacher hates him. One day he finds out that they tried to rob Gringotts. However, the vault they wanted to rob was already empty when the thief arrived. Harry wonders if it was the vault that Hagrid had emptied the same day. Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Neville Longbottom accidentally arrive in the forbidden corridor on the 3rd floor where they find a 3-headed dog. Apparently, he is taking care of something. Harry and Ron don't like Hermione meddling in their business. After a class, Ron makes fun of her and she runs into the girls' bathroom crying. This occurs on Halloween afternoon. During dinner, Professor Quirrell, very alarmed, warns that a troll got into the castle. It is there that Harry and Ron remember that Hermione is in the bathroom and run to warn her that there is a troll loose so they can escape from him. After a fight with the troll in the ladies' room with the 3 friends inside, Professor McGonagall arrives, and Hermione takes the blame for the events, so they don't blame Harry and Ron. After all this, Professor McGonagall deducts 5 points from Hermione for her foolishness in believing that she could control a troll on her own. Instead, Harry and Ron are awarded 5 points each for their courage in facing the troll, despite being first-year students. Sometime later, Harry sees that Snape has a bad leg and deduces that it was the 3-headed dog that bit him. Therefore, he would work for Voldemort trying to steal what the dog guarded. At Christmas, Harry is anonymously given an invisibility cloak, which he hides from anyone who wears it. A note says that it was from his father, and that he used it well. Harry finds a mirror called the Mirror of Erist. It shows the greatest desire of the person who sees it. Harry sees his parents in the mirror, and for the next several weeks he had the same nightmares in the mirror. Dumbledore tells him that this mirror shows the person's desire, but that it will soon be taken elsewhere, given the addiction it causes. Harry visits Hagrid, who in a bet won a dragon egg. When the dragon is born, it begins to grow rapidly. Harry urges Hagrid to give it to Ron's older brother Charlie, who works with dragons in Romania. Hagrid agrees, and Harry plans to go with Ron to deliver it to Charlie. However, the dragon hurts Ron, and he stays in the infirmary. Ron has already contacted Charlie, who tells him that some of his friends are going to the astronomy tower on Saturday at midnight by letter. However, Draco gets that letter and finds out about the plan. Harry and Hermione go to the astronomy tower where they meet up with Charlie's friends. Back, Argus Filch, the warden, catches them, along with Neville, who is going to tell Harry that Draco knew about the dragon's plan. Draco is also caught in the night, and all 4 are grounded. Especially Gryffindor loses 150 points, as Harry, Hermione, and Neville shouldn't be out of bed at that hour. Chapter 8. The Forbidden Forest. Harry, Hermione, Neville, and Draco must go to the Forbidden Forest as punishment. There, Harry finds someone drinking unicorn blood. Firenze, a centaur, explains to Harry that unicorn blood can give you more life, but if you take it, you are cursed. Take half-life. The centaur reveals that the school has the Philosopher's Stone, a stone that gives eternal life. He says that Voldemort was the one who was drinking the unicorn's blood. Harry notices that Fluffy, Hagrid's 3-headed dog, is guarding that stone, along with other traps. Harry thinks that Snape is helping Lord Voldemort, and with Ron and Hermione they go to the 3rd floor, although Neville tried to stop them. They realize that someone has already passed by, and they reason by saying that it was Snape. They get past Fluffy, and they pass other traps, including a devil's snare, a giant plant, some flying keys, a giant wizarding chess set, a troll, and a riddle set by Snape. In the next room would be Snape, trying to steal the stone. Harry walks into the room and sees a man, but it wasn't Snape, nor was it Voldemort. Chapter 9. The Man with Two Faces. USA. It was Quirrell. Harry is surprised to see him there, and Quirrell reveals that he works for Voldemort. that he was the one who broke into Gringotts to steal the sorcerer's stone. Quirrell says that he was the one who bewitched his broom at the Quidditch match, and that actually Snape wanted to do the countercurse. He says that he has gone there looking for the Philosopher's Stone to give it to his master. Behind Quirrell is the Mirror of Erised, and according to Quirrell, the stone is trapped inside the mirror. A voice appears out of nowhere. "Use the boy," says the voice. Quirrell removes his turban from his head, and where the back of his neck should be is Voldemort's head. Harry looks in the mirror, and in his reflection he sees that the reflected Harry has the Philosopher's Stone. Harry then feels a weight in his pocket. Somehow, he had obtained the stone. Voldemort tells Harry that he needs the stone to survive, and asks Harry to join him. Harry refuses, and Quirrell tries to kill him, but upon touching him, Quirrell begins to burn alive. Harry realizes that he must touch Quirrell to kill him, but he suddenly passes out. Harry wakes up in the infirmary. Dumbledore appears and tells him that Quirrell is dead, and Voldemort's ghost has escaped. Also, he says that the Philosopher's Stone will be destroyed. Dumbledore also reveals that he was the one who sent him the invisibility cloak. Finally, Dumbledore says that the only one who would get the stone would be the one who looked in the mirror and wanted to find it, but not use it. The New Year's Eve banquet rolls around, and through the bravery of Ron, Hermione, and Harry, Gryffindor is tied on points with Slytherin. Neville, for trying to stand up to his friends, gets 10 points. Gryffindor wins the House Cup. The book ends Harry's happiness in calling the place home, and he leaves with the thought of torturing Dudley, his cousin, with the threat that he will do magic at home.